During the burial of John Kazora in Western Uganda, Bobi Wine was blocked from addressing the public. Normally, whenever a high-level politician dies, during his burial, a lot of politics is said. And everyone is given a chance to speak according to his hierarchy. But I've realized that in the political dispensation of Uganda, when a high-ranking official from a certain region dies, normally people are blocked from speaking. And I think it shows how we cannot go with each other. It shows the toxicity of the political arena in which we thrive in. And I'm going to explain this very well and also give you very many examples in different regions. We all know that John Kazora was a Bushwa general who died. He died a bitter man. After even writing a book, Betrayed by My Leader, he fell out with General Kaguta Museveni. He has always come out to say that the things he fought for were not envisioned in General Kaguta's government. So, during his death, after his death, during his burial, Bobi Wine was never allowed to speak, despite having a cheerful welcome from the public. Okay? In fact, let me first play you a tape when Bobi Wine was reaching in this region to attend the burial ceremony and how he was received. Here's the tape. That was the video when Bobi Wine had reached during the burial ceremony. I keep on telling people that we are under a dictatorship which saw a seed of division, even amongst us. In different countries, when such a person dies, he was a member of the opposition from FDC, although he was also an NRM member at a certain point. You give both sides a chance to speak. I think the only opposition leader who had a chance to speak was General Mugisha Muntu. And I think it was because he comes from the Western region, but also he was a Bushwa general. I normally see politics in other countries where on a burial ceremony, each side is given a chance to speak so that they can speak to their people, be it politics. Because normally when a politician died, it is supposed to be said. When a fisherman dies, of course, fishermen must speak. When a doctor dies, you clearly see doctors speak. But we have a culture of blocking people who don't normally come from a certain region to speak on those ceremonies. And it cuts across, even within the opposition. Normally when a towering figure of the opposition dies, people from the government are blocked from addressing the public. So this culture cuts across both parties, and it's so unfortunate. But of course, the person who saw this seed is none other than General Kaguta Museveni, because he likes it that way. Since there is no freedom of speech, I know if they had given a chance for Bobi Wine to speak, would have spoke politics, maybe even the attention would have been put away from John Kazora to Bobi Wine's message. And remember, this region is a stronghold of the dictatorship. I always tell people that even a bad leader has a stronghold. Because of maybe captivity or not knowing the truth. Okay? So this culture must end. This is not my first video to speak against it. Even in churches, for example, in different ceremonies, when the church is holding a ceremony, only government's people normally are allowed to speak, not the opposition. We must get a culture that both parties must speak, and this goes to both the opposition and the NRM so that we can understand the purpose. And truth be told, if very many people had to speak, then it had to be the opposition, because John Kazora died in opposition, died after writing a book of Betrayed by Male Leader. He came out to speak that the reason as to why he went to the bush it wasn't because of the rank he got, but it was because of the things he believed should have been done by that time. In fact, there is a famous interview which was done by Ochol of NTV, and I'm going to play it for you here so that you can see how he had fallen out with the dictatorship. Here's the tape.
So I asked him one thing he regrets in his life.
The tag of a military rank on my name. It's one I will forever regret, because when we went to the bush, I went as a freedom fighter, not as a soldier.
This didn't stop at that. He was further barred from joining active politics, something that angered him so much. But after succeeding and becoming a member of parliament for Kashari, he finally fell out with President Yoweri Museveni and thus joined the opposition.
So they called the leadership of Kashari in Kazora to organize against me without telling me. I get crushed the meeting. When Kamjira saw me, he was shocked. He almost got a heart attack. And even Museveni equally was embarrassed. He said, I'm a party that General Muntu and Kazora parties. What can they do to me? I call them here in Rwachtora. I give them tea. When they go, they oppose me in parliament. Then I told him that the tea we are taking is not his tea. It is government money, and as a member of parliament, I appropriate money for president's visitor.
To that effect, he crossed to the Forum for Democratic Change, FDC, led by his co-bush fighter, retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye, who also fell out with President Yoweri Museveni.
And on Sunday, I flew to South Africa. I met Dr. Besigye and gave him my support in a new engagement in the politics of Uganda.
As bitterness and anger mounted, Kazora decided to write history in his book titled Betrayed by My Leader.
I tried to launch it. Most of these hotels were scared. And their idea was, let them take all the copies and destroy them so that I have nothing to launch with.
The book talks about the journey in his life and the regime system in which he served.
I have, however, been overwhelmed because I printed 3,000 copies. As we talk now, after 2 days of the launch, I'm remaining with about 20-something copies.
He does not regret writing this book.
Now, what happened on that day? Soldiers came in army uniform and guns and wanted to storm the club, but they were restricted.
With the role model in his life as his own mother, he explains how he likes to be remembered.
He made a moderate contribution to his country and mankind, and later was disappointed by my leader.
This picture shows him during his first marriage to Grace Kameraho, who unfortunately passed on. He then got married for the second time and now having 4 children. At the moment, Kazora does consultancy in the Great Lakes region, a job which he earns a living. Maurice Ochol, NTV.
That is John Kazora. So a person who has that the opposition do have taken center stage, because I know that very many people had come from the NRM, and I think even the burial was sponsored by the NRM, but the chance would have been given to different parties to speak. That culture must be built, and I'm not saying that it's only the NRM that is participating this. Even the opposition normally blocks the ruling party from the speaking, because of a great divide from within the masses of the country. Of course, that's my opinion. Do make comments by commenting about this. Thank you very much for listening in. If this is your first time on this YouTube channel, employee would subscribe, like, and comment so that I can be motivated to do more of such videos. I'll see you on another one. Peace.
Nange benjagala obulungi.